Live in 3, 2, 1. What's good, YTG? It's your boy Hendrix. I have my mic on my lap right now because my phone mic is just not it. But I'm just coming to y'all as a basketball fan and as a women's college basketball fan. Y'all probably hear from the South Carolina LSU game. Holy hell, that was pretty entertaining. I can't even lie. That was pretty entertaining. But there were a couple of things I wanted to talk about just as a basketball fan and then as a college basketball fan. So let me give a quick background into my fanship, I guess is the right word. Anyway, I wouldn't say I'm like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not the biggest women's college basketball fan. I would say I'm around like in a 7 or 8. Like I started following women's college basketball because I'm a WNBA fan. So I want to know the players coming into the WNBA, and I didn't want to be blindsided by, the talent that I missed. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. When New York, which is my team, when the Liberty picked up Niara Sabally, I was just like, I was so like pro Ray Burrell that I wanted like New York to pick up Ray Burrell, and they picked up Niara Sabally, but I didn't know much about Niara Sabally, right? So the only college player I followed up into that point was Sabrina Ionescu, which is why I'm a Liberty fan, because I just followed her. She got drafted by the Liberty. I started watching the WNBA more, became a fan. But in college, like I wasn't sure. I wanted to know the talent coming out of college. So that's when I started watching women's college basketball. Now, as a basketball fan, I'm just going to touch on this game from a basketball fan's perspective and then from a women's college basketball fan perspective. But apart from that being a very entertaining game, it's just a couple things that like just as someone who plays, obviously not at their level or any level higher, but as just someone who plays basketball, I find it the parts that I find so entertaining is just reading the mindsets and reading the mentalities of the players, the crowd, the coaches, all of that, right? And let me just say this to anyone who plays, anyone who watches, like I said, I love looking at the mentality, right? I love looking at the mindsets, the behaviors of the players, because it tells you so much. When LSU first started the game, right, they were hype. They were talking, they were active. Kim Mulkey, the coach, was getting the crowd into it and everything. And I was just like, and they went into the half up 5. I said to myself, this is a South Carolina W. Why do I say that? Well, here's the thing I know about mentality of teams, all right? And I'm just talking basketball here. This spans from men's basketball to women's basketball, whatever. We're just talking mentality, right? Mentality. I'm more confident in an LSU win. You can be hyped. Don't get me wrong. Like as someone who sees the game as a fan, someone who plays the game, you can be hyped like to start. Like you want to get that war cry going, especially in the first half. But there's a really big difference for when you expound all this. I don't know if that's the right word, or expel all this energy in the first half. Not that it's wasted energy, right? But when the team looks like they're on everything, like every steal is a rah-rah moment. If I'm on the other team and I see them going crazy over a fucking deflection or a bad pass or a turnover like that, like they're hyping every moment like a tennis point, what that's telling me is that this team isn't 100% focused. They're just going off it for the hype. They're trying to motivate themselves. Because to me, a team that's focused, and this is just me personally, I'm not saying this has to be basketball, but like the entirety of basketball. To me, the team that's like, I'm more confident in an LSU win if LSU comes out and head down. They're hype when they need to be hype. Let that war cry out when it needs to be let out. But the game is focused. When a team is focused, all the rah-rah stuff, and even from the crowd, even hyping up the crowd, you just go into a different zone where you don't even hear the crowd. Even if it's your home crowd, you don't even hear the crowd. As a player, I used to play in front. I love away games more than home games. So because away games seem like really quiet to me. It's just like me, my team, my coach, and the ball. Like I don't hear the crowd. I don't hear the other players. It's just I kind of I go deaf at away games, and it's just like so peaceful to me. So when I see this team is just like hyping off of every moment, I'm just like, it's more convincing to me if this team is focused, not too much rah rah, right? Like I said, there can be some, but focus. And when the rah rah starts is in the second half. That's when it starts because it's just like, okay, I got to stay focused in this first half. We're going to get off to a good start. Obviously, these are national champions. They're undefeated. They're a great team, number one team in the country. And then in the second half, when that energy goes up a little bit and both teams are basically hand-to-hand combat, that's when it's just like, okay, I understand if the hype comes in the second half because now you've already established this confidence, this mentality in the first half. So the second half, I get it. So the second half, like, the hype makes sense. It's kind of like in battle rap where sometimes like an MC's first round is like so hype and so live, bouncing around. They getting the bars off and everything, the crowd reaction. They got the crowd repeating it, everything like that. And the other MC is just like, oh, you put everything in this first round. Your second your second or your last round probably isn't going to be as strong as your first round. That's what I got from LSU. It was basically, oh, y'all putting everything into this first half. It's just like, y'all realize, y'all, this is a full game. Y'all can't just be hyped. Like, are y'all going to be hyped like this in the second half too? Most likely not. So that just told me right there that LSU probably, and they're up 5-2. It's not like they're up 10 or 15. That just let me know that LSU was probably going to lose the game, which they ended up doing. South Carolina. Let me go to my other point real quick. But me being a relatively new women's college basketball fan, I have a completely different outlook on women's college basketball because what I think people don't talk about is there's not saying that I know some D1 players, but not saying that players don't get to work on their skills. But in college, it's really just take what the player already is. There's no expansion or maximization of a player's skill sets. Up until college, most girls, most women are playing less basketball than men, are playing less basketball than the boys. So I see college as a completely different place. Like I could give a fuck less about your sets or what you're running in practice or your team plays. It's just like, to me, I feel women's college basketball has their priorities kind of like, not backwards, but I think their priorities should be different. I think the number one priority should be making better players. And then secondly are your team concepts, the team plays, and all that other stuff. Because if you watch women's basketball, if you watch it objectively, the plays they run, there is so much room. There's so much space for spontaneity. If these players tapped into maybe 25% more of their skill sets or of their potential, maybe athletic ability, IQ, handle, whatever their strengths are. I feel if these players are running the same plays with 25% more, tapping into 25% more of their potential, you'd see like a game that's much more creative than what you see now. And I'll explain, and some of y'all probably already know what I'm about to get at, but I'll explain that later. So to me, I feel women's college basketball, there should be a focus. You're going to a D1 program, you're probably going to a good school where the resources are great. I feel the focus should be on making the player better. You get what I'm saying? It's like upping the skill, because what happens is there's this dynamic in women's college basketball where, okay, this player is great in high school. You take that player, you bring him into college, and there's no emphasis and there's no prioritization and there's no focus on making that player better. Right? It's no focus on improving that player. Now, that player can improve. Let's take a Raven Johnson, for instance, right? She gets waived off in the finals last season. She comes back. She hitting free throws. She hitting threes now. She still has room to grow, which is great to see. But she also improved, which is even better to see. But take someone like her who made the steps to get better. That's what I feel women's college basketball should be like, because there's still things that she can improve on. She can get a jump shot. She's a better catch and shoot or set shooter than she was before. But even shooting off of the dribble, there's so much room for her to improve. So what women's college basketball usually does is take the high school players as is. They don't compound on that skill set. They don't maximize that player's potential. So then if this player is good enough to go to the pros, they go to the pros with the same skill set that they had for 4 years in college. And unless you're a generational talent, you start getting bodied by, the professional players. And now you're in a completely different window. You're in a completely different part of your life where compounding on your skill set, maximizing your potential is a lot harder. Does that make sense? So again, I'm in my basketball fan scope right now. I'm just looking at this from a basketball fan perspective. I feel like women's college basketball should reprioritize like the way the game is approached. They should approach it player first and not so much team coach first. That needs to come second, because I'm watching these plays and let's take the example that you all probably believe I was going to use anyway. Camila Cardoso, right? There's no reason Camila Cardoso should be bullied by Angel Reese. Okay? There's also no reason for players to allow themselves to be bullied by Angel Reese. Why are y'all guarding for your life? And first of all, men's and women's, I don't think people know how to play post defense. Fundamental post defense, that shit's a lost art. Damn near, I'm not trying to brag on myself or nothing like that, but I feel like I'm the only person that understands post defense. It's not just a singular thing, it's a team thing as well, but a lot of the time it's a battle of repositioning. It's not a battle of brute strength, it's a battle of repositioning. I don't feel people understand post defense at all, but y'all going to war with Angel Reese in the post just to allow her to catch point blank right next to the hoop for a layup. Angel Reese wasn't hurting you on the elbow. She's more than likely not going to hurt you on the elbow. She took a fadeaway jumper against Bree. Well, I think it was Bree Hall on the right block. Shit didn't even come nowhere near the rim. I'm pretty sure it was an air ball. Okay, and the trajectory of the shot was horrible. That shit went like it ain't even go to the hoop. The shit went away from the hoop. I'm just like, y'all losing y'all minds trying to battle with Angel Reese in the post, and it's just like, that's, first of all, that's not post defense. And secondly, what is the scout on Angel Reese? Because you're just allowing her to catch right next to the hoop. I would rather Angel Reese try to. It's not like Angel Reese has a Asia Wilson midi where she can, if you don't guard her on the elbow, she's popping that midi all day. It's not like Kiki Ariafin where you're not up close to her in the middle in the middle of the lane or on the elbows. She's popping that midi. It's just like, it's Angel Reese. Why are you so scared about her posting? One, and you're playing horrible post defense at the same time. That's not a good mix. So it goes back to this. It goes back to the player skill composition or context that I'm talking about. Because if you're working with a player, if you're working with your big, prime example, Camila Cardoso, there's no reason she gets bullied by Angel Reese. If player skills, if optimizing your player's potential is the highest priority in your program, Camila Cardoso doesn't get bullied by Angel Reese. Now, I'm not saying Camila Cardoso played a bad game. I'm not saying that at all. Camila Cardoso, the reason I love her so much, and the reason I love her game so much, her ceiling is so high, bro. Look at the pass she made to Bree for basically the game-winning shot. Her facilitating IQ is high. She makes the right decisions a lot of the time. Post work can use some improvement, but even if she improves, again, like let's just exaggerate the lowest margin. Even if she improves 10, 15%, that's an unstoppable player. If she improves her athleticism 10, 15%, good luck, bro. Good luck. She can pass. She has a nice midi. She doesn't shoot it a lot, but she has a nice midi. Imagine she stretches out to the three-point line as well. She can knock down the free throw. She can block. She can rebound. She can get you a low post bucket. She can pat. So I'm looking at Camila Cardoso basically happy feet her way in the paint, get blocked by Angel Reese twice off of like just shots that weren't on balance, bad footwork. She got a turnover travel late in the game. And I'm just like, as a basketball fan, and one thing one piece of advice I'd give anyone looking at basketball, whether you play or whether you're a fan, don't just look at the ball during the game. Look at everything around it. It's kind of like chess. In chess, you don't just look at the piece like right in the middle of the board. You got to look at the entire board or else you might get sniped, right? Look at the entire game. That's what I do. I'm looking at the coaches. I'm looking at Kim Mulkey run up and down the sideline. I'm looking at the fans behind the players, the fans on the other side of the players. I'm looking to see if anyone's chirping. And I'm looking at the assistant coaches when these players make mistakes and there's no correction on them. From what I see, there's no correction on them, right? So it could be a lot of the time in women's basketball or women's college basketball, there's this tendency to go off of 2 feet for layups. In situations where, not saying that's a bad thing, but in situations where it's just like, if you go off 2 feet, you're going to get your shit sent. That's what happens. Bree Hall got blocked by Anissa Morrow. What hand did she go up with on the layup attempt? She went up with her right hand, right? You either got to reverse that layup or you got to go up with your left hand. If you go up with your right hand, that shit gets punched. And what did Anissa Morrow do? She punched that shit to the bleachers. You get what I'm saying? So it's not, there's this like, and then again, where's the correction from the team? Where's the player development coach that's just like, that has nothing to do with you not being skilled enough. It's just that correction of a mistake. I feel those corrections of mistakes don't happen in women's basketball as much as they need to. And they have to start happening because you're just going to allow players to make the same mistake. I was watching UConn versus, and I'll get back to the SC LSU game, but I was watching UConn versus who they play. It was UConn versus North Carolina, and I think it was Utsby that went off for a layup off of 2 feet 3 different times, got her shit sent 3 different times. I'm looking at the bench, I'm looking at the coaches, I'm looking when she goes back to the bench, I'm looking at her teammates. No one's telling her, yo, you can't go off 2 feet in this situation or you're going to keep getting blocked. And I think Paige had like 5 blocks that game. Paige Beckers had 5 blocks that game. Paige is averaging more blocks than Aaliyah Edwards, okay? She had 5 blocks that game. I'm just like, you're getting blocked by your guard. You can't, I think it was Utsby. You can't go off 2 feet in this situation. So where's the correction? Where's the correction so that the player becomes more skillful? You get what I'm saying? Because Camila Cardoso, the potential of Camila Cardoso, her frame, she's 6'7", she's big. If she drops a shoulder, a lot of defenders have never had a big drop a shoulder into their sternum. That shit hurts. Remember when LeBron James told Anthony Davis go right through Miles Turner's chest? The reason back up so much is because that shit literally collapses your lungs, okay? It knocks your wind out of you. It fucks your breathing up. If Camila Cardoso is strong within her frame, and I'm not telling her throw fucking elbows and truck over people, but strong within her frame, has the skill set to use her footwork, because a lot of you saw in this game, Camila Cardoso, her footwork, not that her footwork was bad. She got a couple turnovers off of her footwork, but she wasn't using her dribble. She was damn near traveling and damn near falling over just because she didn't want to put the ball on the ground. Why does she not want to put the ball on the ground? Because guards like to come in, get a swipe at the ball. So she understands that she has limited time with putting the ball on the ground. Cool. That's good IQ on her part. But where's the training to make her post dribble better? You get what I'm saying? So it's like in practice, the one thing you should be doing is teaching her, or at least letting her work on, how do I become the most effective using 1 or 2 dribbles in the post, because I know I'm going to get the defense to collapse on me. That's the number one thing they should be doing in practice. Then worry about your team sets, because it doesn't make sense if I'm sending a player into this team set position, right? Or she's going to have the ball in the post, but she's not effective in that position. You get what I'm saying? I think that makes sense. I think I'm being as clear as possible. But yeah, those are just a couple things as a basketball fan that I saw around South Carolina. And I've always had this sentiment about women's college basketball, especially because I just feel like, God, man, my lips are chapped as hell. I just feel like women's college basketball, there should be a focus on getting the player better, more over than like your team's plays and shit. Your team plays, whatever your coach is telling the players to do, is better when that player is better. right? You can run a triangle with a trash ass team. They're not going to do anything in that triangle offense because they're fucking trash. They have no skill. Now, when you put players like Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Tony Kukoc, Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper in the triangle, this shit's fucking deadly. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's better to make the player better first and then worry about the team sets. Anyway, on to the game. Let me give a big shout out to Tahina Paopao. And this is a lesson for all basketball fans out there, all basketball players. Sometimes it's just about making the right play. I go back to her shot against Flo J where she missed. She was at the top of the key. It was kind of a rush shot. She wasn't set. She didn't have the best game, made a couple of stupid turnovers, but she made the right play. When she started to make the right play, sometimes the right play isn't a three. Sometimes the right play is being aggressive, which is what she was. So kudos to her. She was aggressive. The reason she even got open to get that ball to Camila Cardoso was because she was aggressive shooting that three ball. So they closed out on her high. Boom, Camila caught it in the post. They didn't even look, fired it off debris, game-winning shot. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes the right play, it's just simple. It's just a simple play. And friggin' Tahina Paopao made it. Didn't have the best game. Shouts out to Tahina Paopao. Malaysia Fulwiley. Shouts out Malaysia Fulwiley. She had a great game. She was locking up. Hailey Van Lith, she's different. But Malaysia as a freshman, she came in, gave the spark that SC needed. That was great. That was your freshman. I don't know if y'all watching Fulwiley, but the composure she has is so good. It's so nice to watch a player just go into a freaking stressed environment and just like chill and just having fun. You see her dancing on the bench and shit. I told y'all I like away games because I just don't hear shit anyway. So it's like watching Malaysia play. I was just like, oh, I can relate to that. Like, I have fun in away arenas too. Like, I don't give a damn about these people. People making all this noise. I don't hear shit. And she just dancing over there, comes into the game, slaps a couple threes, gets a couple stops, gets a steal and a layup, attacking Hailey Van Lith. Like, I don't know, you been just going up. I was just like, shouts out Malaysia, shouts out Bree Hall. Hit a couple big shots down the stretch. LSU now. Hailey Van Lith played well. Michaela was a little cold from three, but she hit a big shot. They hit big shots. That's all they can ask for is to keep it close. Angel Reese, this one's on you. This one's on you. Not that I have no problem with anyone being aggressive, but the foul on Raven Johnson, you have 4 fouls. Why are you fouling? You have 4 fouls. You want to stay in the game? That's a stupid foul to make. Like, at least try to get the ball when it's in the air. She went for the ball when Raven was still... First of all, I don't think Raven was making that layup anyway, but you went for the ball when Raven still had the ball in her hands, and literally you intentionally fouled Raven with 4 fouls. Why? I don't know. You just got to let that one go. All right? You were doing a good job. You were cooking. You were fucking up Camilla. You just got to stay in the game. You can't make that foul. What did LSU do? Now, again, I told you I'm not the biggest women's college basketball fan, but again, I'm especially looking at the talents that might go into the WNBA in the next couple of years. So I'm fucking hawking Camila Cardoso. I am scouting the shit out of Hailey Van Lith. I'm scouting Malaysia Fulwiley. I'm looking at Tahina Paopao. I'm looking at Angel Reese. That was a great game. I can't lie. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I opened up my laptop because I wanted to write some things down that I wanted to talk about from the game and the player. Is there any player I'm missing right now? Hailey, Michaela, Flo J, Angel Reese. Yeah, to me, it was just most of the lessons came from the SC side. Not that I was like rooting for SC. I don't really care who won. I just like seeing good basketball. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was SC that really prompted me to like, it's just like, fuck, bro. Like, I'm watching Camila Cardoso get bitched by Angel Reese. I'm just like, this can't, fuck no, bro. If I'm a point guard on South Carolina, I'm not even gonna lie. Y'all, the gamesmanship is there. Great. I love it. I'm gonna need you to put your shoulder right below Angel Reese's neck. Just right. Even if you get the foul, make sure she know you there. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. And it's like, Camilla, She came out more aggressive in the second half. This is not a Camilla rant. Again, she's like one of my favorite players. I see the potential. It's crazy. At 25% or 50% more potential, more tapped into potential, she's unstoppable. And it doesn't even have to take that much. But if I'm on her team, all the work we do in practice is around getting her closer to tapping into more of her potential. Because ain't no way, dog. If I'm a point guard, if I'm like, I want to see, this is what I want to see more from Tina Pow too. A little bit more leadership. A little bit more leadership. I get that you're like, this is your first year on the team. This is your last year. Fuck. Might as well do some. Might as well call some shit out. A little bit more like, tell Camilla play ugly. Tell her start bullying. Start a fight if you must. You know what I'm saying? Angel Reese blocked you twice, and they were both clean. Send her to the bleachers. So, you are 6'7". Your legs longer than my life. You have to you can put one leg straddled Angel Reese, and she cannot touch the ball. You can have the ball out here. She can't touch the ball. You hear what I'm saying? If you're using your shoulder, you're using your frame, a drop step puts her at the free throw line and it gives you an easy layup. You hear what I'm saying? There's no way. I look at the game, I look at these players from their potential. I'm looking at Camila Cardoso. There's no way, bro. If she's working on becoming a better player individually, she dominates the entire game. That's my little take. I enjoyed that game. That game was very fun. Great to see, some of the players I've been following for a couple of years now. Haley Van Lith, Tina Pow. I don't know if Pow has been in that type of environment before, that hostile environment. That's the word I was looking for earlier, hostile environment. I don't know if Pow has been in that environment at Oregon. But yeah, that was fun. That was a good game. And SC started waving to the crowd and shit. Y'all some badasses, bro. Y'all some badasses. Shouts out Ashley Watkins. She came in. Shouts out Ashley Watkins. She definitely came in and had a big impact. I could tell the crowd affects y'all. They started waving to the crowd and shit. They was trying to swag surf on y'all. Oh, it would have got disrespectful. Shouts out South Carolina. Shouts out LSU. That was a really good game. If I hear swag surf in the building, if they were trying to swag surf in a close game, I'm getting disrespectful, bro, especially if I win. So good shit. Good job waving to the crowd. Send them home. Tuck them in. You're swag surfing in a close game. Ooh, that's a tech on my ass. Yeah, swag surfing in a close game is that if you don't need much motivation after that. Anyway, yeah, that's my little scoop on SC versus LSU. I don't know if this is like post-game coverage or anything like that. This is just like my take. This is something I also wanted to say for a minute, so I figured why not just say it in this game. This game really prompted me to say it because, again, I'm watching some of like my favorite players not go to work. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it kind of annoys me that there's this leave it as is type attitude in women's basketball. It's just like, okay, we'll take the skill set you already have. We're not going to do anything to expand it. That annoys the fuck out of me. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the game too. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love talking basketball, no matter what it is. I watch women's. I don't even watch men's college basketball. I watch women's college basketball and the WNBA. Sometimes more than I watch, men's sports. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Have a good night. Be blessed. Stay safe. It's your boy Hendrix. I'm out of here. Peace.